When does low T stop being just getting older and become something a man should actively address? Are there specific lab markers or symptom patterns you always watch for first?
So the first thing and the most important thing to us in my office is symptoms, because our goal is to resolve a symptom and improve quality of life. Chasing numbers on a lab are, that's the insurance-based model of medicine, which is one of many reasons why we don't work with insurance. Insurance, they try to normalize. We try to optimize. Normal and optimal are not the same thing. Normal is a set of data entry points with outliers being discarded, and then you have a field goal. And if you fall within that field goal range, you are normal. But many people don't feel great in that range, and we've discussed many times why, specifically for testosterone, why that field goal is incorrect. Some of it we feel has to do with the politics of insurance and coverage. A lot of it has to do with the fact that over the course of decades, the population has declined in hormone levels, and as a result, they move the goalpost over to the lower end. So to try to normalize somebody and put them within that number is not really doing them any favors per se. It's kind of satisfying a checkbox. So I would say that basing your treatment off of symptoms, number one. Look, it never hurts to get an assessment. I don't care if you're 19 years old. I mean, I'm using that. It's a little bit extreme, right? 19-year-olds don't go running to your doctor saying test my hormones, because they do that too now. But if you're 30 years old and you want to just have a labs done and you want to have a conversation, have an assessment with a good qualified provider who truly understands hormones, there's no harm in that. It doesn't mean you're initiating treatment. It means you're having a conversation. It also means that when you're 40 years old, you're going to look back in 10 years earlier, and you can say, here is where I was, here is how I felt at that level, and now here is where I am, and here is how I feel at this level. Because at 40, when your primary care tells you you're normal, and you say, yes, but look, I'm down 40% from a decade ago where I felt my best. Now you understand, maybe I should consider some sort of a treatment, because there's no reason for me to live my life here when I could be living my life here. It's also important to have a conversation about risk versus reward. And when I say risk, I'm not talking about risk of dying. I'm talking about risks associated with treatment, which are pretty common across the board. And the biggest one we have with guys, especially if they're a little younger, let's say 45 and younger, would be fertility. If you're trying to start a family, it's a real conversation. It doesn't mean you can't. It just means that your sperm count is likely to be reduced. And if you're going to make a decision, move forward, at least that decision needs to be an informed one, not one that's pushed on you by anyone. So as long as you have all the facts, as long as you stay informed, and as long as you understand the risks, there are other risks, but they're more individual. If you're obese, if you're hypertensive, if you have other conditions or diseases, there are other things that we would explain and have a conversation about with a patient. But fertility impacts almost everyone on TRT. So that's one that's a global conversation with every patient. But in short, we treat symptoms. How you would know you need to start? I wish it was that simple. You need to choose a good, educated provider, and then it's their job to tell you what they recommend for you and why. Most importantly is why. Not just, hey, I recommend ABC, but why, so that you can make an informed decision.